I said, you know what? If there's one job that I would ever go back and coach at the high school level, it would be Notre Dame La Salette. And I guess, good Lord, he always figures ways out to help us out. And so I no more said that, and it could have been 2 weeks later. Father McMahon called me, and he said, "Coach, our coach has left. Coach Anderson's left. Would you be interested?" And I just shook my head. I said, "I can't believe this," because I just said that. And I said, "Sure, let's talk about it." And Father Sick was going to take over, and that's how I came back to La Salette. It was, I guess somebody intervened from up above and said, "Hey, this is what needs to happen. This is where I've been." And as it's worked out, I've been here for 4 years. We're in the Illinois High School State Tournament Series now. Played in our first regional ever. I mean, we've always been an associate member, playing the Watsika tournament and the St. Joe tournament, and so. But we've got to play in the regional tournament, the IHSA regional tournament, and so did cross country. I mean, the student body goes to games. The Crazies, and I can't say enough about the Coliseum Crazies, because they'll go to away games, home games. It's like you've taken a piece of history back in 50s, and that's La Salette. The COVID hit, and our guys were very enthusiastic, and we had a lot of practices, not a lot of games. I said, well, let's give it a shot. I talked to Father Sick. I said, let's do a Zoom with Craig Anderson, and I said, Kurt Gibson will help us, and let's see what happens. So we did, and we applied, and Jason did a good job of coming in and helping out. And we applied for it, and they said, well, we'll tell you in August whether you can get in or not. And I had people say, well, Coach, they aren't going to let you in. You're a private school, and et cetera, et cetera. Well, lo and behold, we get a phone call in August and September. Yeah, you're in. Your cross-country team can run in the regionals, and they did. And I think they got to the sectionals, and your basketball team can play in the regionals. And then I think we have chess can compete in the IHSA. And so we did, and we brought Craig Anderson came in. Our first home game was against Clifton Central, and he came here and talked to the crowd, and he was appreciative. And we were very appreciative of him coming and do that. You don't get the executive director from the IHSA just to come someplace. The Crazies are unbelievable. They do it in a manner of sportsmanship, and I couldn't begin to even tell you other schools will say, Coach, those guys are unbelievable. They're dressed in white or blue, and they cheer. And if you come here, they're going to beat the drum. They're going to cheer. And they don't do it when kids are shooting free throws, and they do it in a respectful manner. But they do it loud, and I'll have, like, St. Joe will say, well, Coach, you're going to play in our tournament. Are the Crazies coming?
This is the 17th year of existence for La Salette Boys Academy. And really up until this year, we have never been part of the IHSA. It was a gradual process. When we first started, we really started from ground zero, as it were, with our athletic programs. And a lot of the boys that we had here hadn't played a whole lot, and it just took a little bit of time to create that culture and those expectations to get the boys to where they're really competing at a higher level. And so it just took some time. We had tried other various things. We had played some other schools that we knew of, in other states, to kind of give a little bit of that championship feel, at the end of the season. And but just with time and with speaking with the IHSA representatives and some of the officials within the IHSA, I just really thought it was time to proceed to try to become a member. And, of course, being approved by the Illinois State Board of Education, we were able to be that member. And what I really wanted it to, I felt like having the postseason in the IHSA really gave to the season. It gave value to the season itself. Every game, it was about building up towards the end of the season, and it wasn't an all or nothing. Every game wasn't the entire championship and everything else. If I remember correctly, one of our cross country runners after the regional and the sectional said, I couldn't imagine anything else. Just getting to the point where you're competing at and striving to compete for the regional and the sectional. But very positively, I think it really gave a certain momentum to the season and the whole student body, really. It wasn't just the players, but the whole student body, I think, looked forward to playing in those games.